There are homes that are not merely places to live. They are where memories are buried, where pain lingers, and sometimes, where legends meet their end. You'd think the legacy of a star as monumental as Isaac Hayes would be preserved in its entirety. But the truth is, the mansion where he once lived, nestled in the heart of splendid Cordova, became something cursed, abandoned, mold-ridden, and then consumed by flames in a fateful night. Why did $1 million home end up in ashes? What tore apart his life and family? Behind the sweet soul melodies lies a tragedy so bitter it takes your breath away. And the story you're about to hear will change how you view life beyond the spotlight. On August 20th, 1942, in a rickety shack amidst the snow-white cotton fields of Covington, Tennessee, the cries of Isaac Lee Hayes Jr. pierced the air. His parents, Isaac Sr. and Eula, were sharecroppers toiling under the harsh yoke of land and societal prejudice. The few coins they earned picking cotton barely bought scraps of hard cornbread, a rare luxury in their ever-hungry evenings. But material lack wasn't the greatest pain. In the Jim Crow era, a black family like the Hayeses was a mere shadow in the eyes of the world, insulted, despised, and pushed to society's edges. In such a cruelly divided world, Isaac's birth was like a silent declaration of war against fate. Just 2 years later, before he could grasp the world around him, Isaac faced his first loss. His mother, exhausted from relentless labor and malnutrition, passed away in the biting cold of a 1944 winter night. His father, a man already wrestling poverty and despair, quietly vanished early the next year, leaving the bewildered child in the care of his maternal grandparents. By spring 1945, Isaac was taken to their small farm in Shelby, where his grandparents, Willie Wade Sr. and his wife, scratched a living from the soil. But it wasn't a true haven. It was a silent battlefield, where the family toiled under the sun to pay off ever-looming debts. At 4 years old, Isaac's tiny feet trudged through thorny cotton rows, his trembling hands picking white tufts in silence. To local white folks, he was just a nameless, worthless child, called slurs that stung his heart, even if he didn't yet understand their full weight. At night, he'd curl up in the dark, listening to the wind howl through the tattered roof, his stomach growling. Yet not a single sob escaped, as if he'd already learned to swallow his tears. Racism wasn't just an unwritten law, it was a monster lurking in every breath, every step he took. Amid those heavy days, a faint light unexpectedly flickered. In June 1947, his grandfather brought Isaac to a small church. In that humble sanctuary, gospel hymns rose, deep and soulful, soothing a heart already hardened by pain. Isaac sat transfixed by the melodies, feeling each note cradle him in an invisible embrace. He began to sing along, his voice frail but brimming with longing, as if music was the only thing reminding him he still existed. The church's worn-out piano became a silent friend. He tinkered with its keys, memorizing each disjointed sound. By age 7, simple tunes began to flow from his young hands, an escape from loneliness, hunger, and the contempt that surrounded him. In September 1952, his quiet but profound grandfather scraped together every penny to buy Isaac an old saxophone, scratched and out of tune. It was a treasure to Isaac, a whole new world. He clutched it each night, blowing clumsy but heartfelt melodies, as if telling his story without words. Each note was a piece of memory, a wound trying to heal. Yet, life's harshness never relented. When Isaac entered Manassas High School in Memphis in the fall of 1955, he didn't just face a new academic world, but also the continued sting of derision. White kids mocked his tattered, soulless shoes and the patched clothes his grandparents stitched together. At 13, while peers played, Isaac worked from dawn to dusk picking cotton, delivering goods, cleaning to help his grandparents chip away at their endless debts, exhausted and starving. He'd still play a few tunes at night, clinging to hope, a momentary reprieve from the relentless trials. By 1960, at 18, Isaac stood at a crossroads. His musical talent was gaining notice, earning him a rare college scholarship, a chance to escape poverty. But fate dealt another blow. He hastily married Emily, his high school sweetheart, when she became pregnant with their first child. The weight of family crushed his shoulders like a boulder, and dreams of college faded into the mist. Isaac took a job at a Memphis meatpacking plant, where the air reeked of blood and sweat. He stood for hours slicing and boxing meat to feed his wife and child. By day, he was an exhausted worker, hands trembling from strain. By night, he became a musician, playing saxophone and piano in smoky, small clubs where laughter and liquor mingled. Though life spun in an endless cycle of fatigue, Isaac clung to music, the only flame keeping him steady, a faint belief to rise above poverty and prejudice. In July 1962, a sudden opportunity arose. Isaac was invited to Stax Records, a small Memphis label, to play keyboards in a recording session. Stepping into the studio, he felt a jolt, like destiny calling. But the path ahead was far from smooth. By 1963, with a second child born, financial strain grew heavier. As a session musician backing other singers, he faced delayed payments and meager earnings. Emily, weary of his late nights and mounting bills, grew distant. She said he'd chosen music over family, that she couldn't live with a man who existed only in melodies. By June 1966, their marriage collapsed. Emily left, taking their 2 children. Amid personal turmoil, Isaac met David Porter, a young, passionate songwriter. They quickly became a dynamic duo, penning songs that ignited the soul music scene. In October 1966, Soul Man, written for Sam and Dave, exploded across America, becoming an anthem of Southern soul and demanding the world's attention. Yet behind the glow, Isaac remained a struggling husband and father, grappling with financial pressures, sleepless nights, and heavy family responsibilities. In early 1968, at 26, Isaac stepped into the spotlight as a solo artist. His debut album, Presenting Isaac Hayes, released in April, fell flat, met with audience indifference and critical scorn. It felt like the world had turned its back. Though his proud heart shattered, Isaac didn't fold. A year later, in September 1969, Hot Buttered Soul changed everything. Its bold, extended arrangements, warm baritone, and orchestral blend sparked a musical revolution, catapulting the orphaned boy from poverty to international fame. Alongside career triumphs, his personal life found new joy, still aching from his divorce. Isaac met Barbara, a captivating woman working at a Memphis club. Her radiant smile and strength were a fresh breeze in his life. He fell hard, believing she'd be his partner on music's thorny path. They married in October 1968, just before Hot Buttered Soul cemented his legacy. In March 1970, Isaac returned to Stax's studio with a blazing passion. He didn't just want to sustain success, he aimed to shatter his own limits. The result was the Isaac Hayes movement, an album pushing musical boundaries further. Songs like I Stand Accused dripped with raw pain, as if he poured his struggles into every note, recounting years of hardship. Fans embraced it fervently. Critics hailed him as a soul pioneer. With this success, he bought a modest mansion to build a family nest. But the pressures mounted. Isaac wasn't just an artist, but a family pillar, husband and father to 3 children with Barbara. Bills piled up, sleepless nights grew, and responsibilities tightened like a noose. Though Stax thrived, cracks appeared, mounting debts, poor management, and delayed royalties for even their brightest star. In November 1971, Isaac Hayes stunned the world again with Black Moses. More than music, it was a bold statement of Black identity, pride, and resilience in a prejudiced America. Tracks like Never Can Say Goodbye pulsed with raw emotion, reaffirming his gift for touching souls. Success soared, elevating him to new heights, but fame brought consequences. At 29, Isaac was swept into fame's whirlwind. Endless parties, tours, and Hollywood offers shrank time for family and self. Tempting affairs lured him into fleeting thrills, straining his marriage. Barbara felt estranged from the man who'd been her rock. As Isaac sank deeper into work, passion, and murky relationships, their Memphis home, once a beacon of hope, became a quiet battleground of arguments. But stopping was never an option. Music was Isaac's breath, the only thread keeping him from the abyss of memory. In June 1971, a new milestone emerged. Isaac was tapped to compose and perform for Shaft, a film about an unyielding Black detective. He poured his heart into the iconic theme, blending seductive funk with sharp electronics. Released in October, it rocked the charts, becoming a cultural landmark. At the Oscars in March 1972, when his name was called for Best Original Song, Isaac took the stage amid roaring applause. As the third black person to win that award, he etched his name in history. Yet, joy came with unease. He knew fame's light was a double-edged sword. That fear soon materialized. His marriage to Barbara crumbled in May 1972, irreparable amid personal turmoil. Barbara, worn by his absences and unkept promises, left with their 3 children. Isaac understood why, though regret gnawed at him. But the tragedy didn't end there. By early 1973, Stax, his launching pad, teetered on financial ruin. Despite being their biggest star, Isaac's royalties trickled in. He turned to investments, like the ABA's Memphis Sounds basketball team, hoping for stability. But these ventures were like pouring money into a bottomless pit. In April 1973, seeking light in dark times, Isaac married Mignon Harley, a gentle yet resolute bank employee. Unlike his previous wives, Mignon understood his pressures, but financial fallout from bankruptcy soon strained their bond. Mignon grew disillusioned with the man who'd won her heart, as Isaac seemed obsessed with recapturing past glory. Tensions brewed in their rented Memphis apartment, a far cry from his golden days. By September 1974, a staggering $6 million bill pushed him to the brink. His lavish lifestyle mansions, luxury cars, and the Black Moses image became a burden. The Memphis mansion was seized, cars repossessed, and his bank account hit zero. In December 1974, Isaac declared bankruptcy, shocking the music world. Amid the chaos, he refused to quit. To survive, Isaac turned to film. In 1974, he starred in Truck Turner, a modest action flick that opened a new path. By 1976, he took supporting roles in films like Escape from New York, hoping Hollywood would revive him. He worked tirelessly, sweating on sets, aiming to be seen as a true actor. But Hollywood wasn't as welcoming as music. Directors viewed him skeptically, as just a singer dabbling in film. Small roles, meager pay, and cold reviews left him feeling out of place in a world not meant for him. Isaac neared rock bottom. He lived quietly in a rundown Memphis apartment, far from the stages that once exalted him. Old Stax allies drifted away, leaving a cold void and doubts from the community that once revered him. Whispers spread that he'd betrayed his soul, that his orchestral arrangements were a forced bid to please white audiences. Those rumors didn't just wound his pride, they eroded his remaining faith. Yet, his survival instinct endured. Music remained his lifeline, the only buoy in a drowning sea. In June 1977, he signed with Polydor, releasing New Horizon. Though no match for Hot Buttered Soul, it showed he hadn't surrendered. Its funk and soul screamed of a man battling darkness, pouring bitterness, regret, and pain into every sound. But audiences, swept by disco's rise, found his symphonic soul outdated. Critics praised his effort, but the market turned away. Dismal sales underscored that the world had moved past him on Memphis's small stages. His voice still rang out, but his eyes carried a heavy weight, as if trying to salvage something he wasn't sure still existed. 9 years later, in fall 1986, his marriage to Mignon ended. 13 years closed in silence, leaving Isaac with a bruised heart and 3 more children to raise. She said she couldn't live with a man haunted by past glory, unable to provide stability. He didn't blame her. Long studio nights, endless tours, and financial strain had made him a stranger to his own family. Post-divorce, he moved to a smaller apartment where only his old saxophone and unfinished songs kept him company. But the pain deepened. His children from earlier marriages grew distant. Some, now adults, spoke of his absence during their formative years. Their reproaches cut deep, but he didn't know where to begin mending. He buried himself in music, as if sound alone could soothe his smoldering wounds. In March 1993, an unexpected chapter opened. After years of struggle, Isaac turned to Scientology, introduced by an acquaintance. L. Ron Hubbard's teachings and promises of inner peace captivated him. He took courses, read scriptures, feeling a strange light pierce his long unsettled soul. But that light dimmed quickly. Scientology revealed itself as more controlling than liberating, demanding time, money, and absolute obedience. His family, especially his older children, noticed the shift. Isaac grew distant, quieter, slipping from their familiar world. At 51, he pinned hopes on a new escape, seeking balance in a turbulent life, while wrestling with faith and doubt. An opportunity arose in August 1997. Isaac was cast as Chef in South Park. His warm, witty baritone made the character iconic. The show's irreverent take on religion, politics, and society brought him to a new generation unaware of Hot Buttered Soul or Shaft. In the studio, he recaptured glimmers of past glory, laughter, passion still alive. But South Park wasn't a safe harbor. Creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker's merciless satire sometimes stung. Even as a cast member, he continued quietly, but unease brewed beneath. In October 2000, Isaac returned to music, releasing independent albums to rekindle hope, but music had changed. Hip-hop and pop overshadowed his soul. He performed old hits on small stages, but the audience's fervor had faded. Accepting reality, he didn't give up. He turned to humanitarian work, notably in Ada Foa, Ghana, building schools and clinics since 1992. These trips brought some peace, but not enough to fill the gnawing void. Scientology tightened its grip, controlling his relationships and finances, and unknowingly, Isaac began losing agency over his life. In May 2003, a BMI Urban Award honored his musical contributions. On stage, his familiar smile glowed, but inside, conflicts churned. He knew he'd left an undeniable legacy, but at the cost of broken marriages, estranged children, and a career peak now just memory. In quiet moments, he wondered if the sacrifices were worth it. In May 2005, Isaac found a spark of hope in his fractured personal life. He entered his fourth marriage with a Jawa, a vibrant young woman. But as family life brightened, his career faced new tests. In November 2005, South Park, which had revived his fame, sparked a crisis. Chef's role brought him back to the public eye, briefly making him feel like the Black Moses of the 70s. But the show's increasingly bold jabs at all faiths and figures grew taxing. Each studio session left him with lingering unease. Then, the storm he'd ignored finally hit, sweeping away his career, reputation, and remaining faith. On November 16, 2005, South Park aired Trapped in the Closet, a direct attack on Scientology, where Isaac had found solace since 1993 alongside figures like Tom Cruise and John Travolta. The episode was a bombshell, and for Isaac, a crushing blow. Scientology had been his refuge in dark times, but now it was mocked in ways he couldn't control. Though he didn't publicly object, those close to him voiced displeasure, urging respect for his faith. Stone and Parker, unmoved, aired the episode despite mounting pressure. Isaac was torn, his beliefs versus his beloved work. The tension tightened like an invisible noose. Then, on a cold January 2006 morning, tragedy struck. Isaac collapsed in his Cordova home. Bought after his fourth marriage, his heart raced, his body faltered, and he couldn't speak. A Jawa, who'd recently given birth to their son Nanakwajo, rushed him to the hospital. Doctors diagnosed a severe stroke, crippling his movement and speech. From a music icon, Isaac now faced relearning to speak, walk, and play the piano steadily. Each step was a battle, the deepest pain being his inability to control his own fate. Months later, in March 2006, a statement announced his South Park departure, citing religious disrespect. But in 2016, his son Isaac Hayes III revealed Isaac didn't write it. Post-stroke, he could barely communicate, and the statement came from someone tied to Scientology. The move ignited fury from Stone and Parker, who felt betrayed. They publicly criticized Isaac for tolerating jabs at other faiths, but leaving when Scientology was targeted. In retaliation, they crafted the return of Chef, using old recordings to kill off Chef violently and satirically. The episode was a cold finale, severing Isaac's South Park ties and sparking debates over free speech and religious influence on celebrities. As media buzzed, Isaac, bedridden, felt isolated. Former allies became strangers. Scientology, once a haven, felt like a trap. Even family grew skeptical. Older children questioned Scientology's role in his life, from finances to their relationships. Though he defended the faith that once saved him, doubts crept in. Was he truly in control? Family life grew messier post-illness. With 12 children from 4 marriages and brief relationships, unity was elusive, now too frail to bridge gaps. Isaac grew more distant. Some children felt he was no longer the devoted father, but a shadow swayed by a powerful organization. Reunions turned heavy, filled with unspoken grievances. Ajawa, caring for Isaac and their toddler, faced pressures from a complex family and lingering financial scars from the 70s bankruptcy. The Cordova mansion, once a proud symbol with a musical note on its gate, stood somber, a quiet relic of a faded past, per celebrity net worth. Isaac's wealth had dwindled, and the 7,000 square foot home was modest compared to his peak. There, he underwent intensive therapy, fighting to reclaim his fading health. By summer 2008, despite his decline, Isaac joined Soul Men with Bernie Mac, pouring his remaining life into the role, as if to prove Black Moses still stood. But fate cast a dark veil. On August 9th, Bernie Mac died suddenly of pneumonia, leaving a void. Less than a day later, darkness reached Isaac. On the morning of August 10th, in the stifling basement of his Cordova mansion, he pushed himself on a treadmill, clinging to life's spark, but his heart, worn by years of crises and illness, gave out. He collapsed beside the still-running machine. Ajawa and 2 relatives rushed to him, but panic was futile. Despite a swift ambulance, resuscitation failed. At 2:08 p.m., Isaac Hayes took his final breath at Baptist Memorial Hospital from a second stroke. At 65, he closed a radiant yet scarred musical journey. His death left an indescribable void. His funeral on August 18th at Hope Presbyterian Church drew mourners like Stevie Wonder, Al Green, and hundreds of fans to Memphis, bidding farewell to a soul legend. But the solemn air carried unanswered questions about Scientology's deep involvement, whether Isaac received proper care post-2006 stroke, and if he truly controlled his final choices. That September, Roger Friedman's Showbiz 411 article fanned the flames, questioning why a stroke survivor used a treadmill unsupervised and hinting Scientology's anti-medication stance may have affected his treatment. Though lacking proof, it sparked fierce debate. The family neither confirmed nor denied, only stating Isaac lived passionately but endured immense pain, a dazzling yet anguished life. Despite controversies, Isaac Hayes' legacy endures. His music from Hot Buttered Soul to Theme from Shaft still echoes worldwide. By 2008, his compositions were performed over 12 million times, a testament to his vast influence. His unique blend of rap intros and orchestral grandeur paved the way for funk and hip-hop. Artists like Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, and Alicia Keys credit him as a pioneer who reshaped music. In 2002, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame honored him, and 6 years later, a tribute there saw young artists perform hits like Soul Man and Walk On By. Each note affirmed Isaac wasn't just a singer, he was proof of overcoming poverty, racism, and inner demons to assert worth in a challenging world. Yet, tragedy lingered post-mortem. In November 2022, Donald Trump's unauthorized use of "Hold On, I'm Coming" for his re-election announcement shocked the public. Isaac Hayes III, now managing his father's musical estate, fiercely objected, stressing Isaac, an advocate for black rights, wouldn't have allowed his music to be tied to a divisive figure. The incident reopened old wounds, fueling debates over intellectual property and the misuse of artistic legacies. Beyond Trump, hits like Soul Man and Theme from Shaft were repeatedly used in campaigns and ads without family consent. Each time, Isaac Hayes III spoke out, continuing his father's fight for identity and dignity from those hard Tennessee days. Isaac's family, with dozens of children and grandchildren, faced rifts after his passing. Broken marriages, especially with Mignon Harley, left fractured father-child bonds. Some older children, like Isaac Hayes III, harbored resentment, believing Scientology distanced him in his final years. Younger children from Ajawa, too young to grasp the chaos, grew up with a void, knowing only the shadow of a legendary man. The Cordova mansion, where Isaac lived, became a symbol of loss. After his death, it stood empty, holding layered memories and unhealed pain. It became the stage for the dramatic final chapter of the man once called Black Moses. The family faced stark realities: finances, battered since the 1974 bankruptcy, and medical costs post-2006 were shaky. The Cordova mansion, once valued over $1 million, became a burden. A Jawa, cradling a 2-year-old, couldn't maintain the sprawling home. Maintenance costs, utilities, repairs after summer storms overwhelmed her. Isaac Hayes III, managing his father's musical legacy, proposed selling the mansion to settle debts and secure his youngest sibling's future. But it sparked conflict. Some children from earlier marriages, like Veronica and Heather, fiercely opposed. To them, the house wasn't just property, it held their father's indelible marks, where he penned timeless music. Selling it meant losing the last scraps of memory. After months of dispute, by March 2009, the family yielded to reality. The mansion sold to Memphis real estate investor Robert Carson for $900,000, a fraction of its original worth. Carson, a soul music fan, vowed to turn it into a small Isaac Hayes museum, preserving relics like the old saxophone or basement manuscripts. But the global financial crisis buried that dream. The house sat neglected, dust-covered, its musical note gate rusted, the garden choked with weeds. Cordova locals whispered of a cursed mansion not for ghosts, but for the string of misfortunes tied to its owner. In June 2015, disaster struck. A fire, sparked by faulty basement wiring, engulfed the house before firefighters could intervene. Though no one was hurt, the damage was irreparable. Charred walls, a warped musical note gate, and ashes were all that remained. Carson declared bankruptcy, unable to rebuild. By October 2016, the land was auctioned to a developer. The ruins were razed, replaced by a modern apartment complex, erasing Isaac's trace. Local efforts for a memorial were swiftly denied. Though heartbroken, Isaac Hayes III shifted to preserving his father's artistic legacy. He founded the Isaac Hayes Foundation to support young Memphis artists, honoring his father's spirit. But the wound of the lost home lingered, a mournful melody echoing in his mind.